So, I'm currently working on a Yakuza 3 video, and just because it's going to be super weird that that I haven't given my opinion on Yakuza 0, Kiwami, and Kiwami 2, I'm going to do that in this video right now. So, for clarification, I've not finished 0, Kiwami, or Kiwami 2 at all. I finished the original versions of Yakuza 1 and 2, but I've not finished their remakes. So, I will make videos on Yakuza 1 and 2, but I will not make videos on Kiwami anytime soon. So, now let's get into the game that started it all. The remake of the game that started it all, Yakuza Kiwami 1, released in 2016 for the PS3 and PS4. So, basically, let me just discuss three topics. The graphics, a very short description of the story, my opinions on the gameplay, and how it compares to the original, and whether you should buy it. Whether you should play this over the original or not. That was more than three things, but whatever. Anyways, let's start with the story. So basically, Cosmic Kiryu, well, he has this brother called Akira, and Cosmic Kiryu is essentially the dragon of the Dojima family. He frames himself for killing Sohei Dojima, the dragon, the person that Kiryu is the dragon to, when in reality the person who killed Dojima was actually
10 years in the joint made you a fucking
pussy!
pussy!
You spend 10 years in the prison, you beat a bunch of dudes, eventually you learn that 10 billion yen is missing, because some goofball stole it, and, well, you fight more dudes. Basically, you meet this girl called Haruka, and guys embark on a journey together. You fight Mafia a couple of times. Then you meet Jingu, Haruka's biological father. He tries to kill Haruka, but that doesn't work. Anyways, you meet Nishiki after 10 years. Twice in this game. You meet Nishiki once in chapter 8, I think, and once in chapter 13. You fight him, he kills himself, he kills Jingu, and he blows up the top floor of the Millennium Tower. But somehow, Kiryu, Haruka, and Yumi survive, and Yumi survives with quotation marks, because she lived the blast, but because she got shot by Jingu before he died, she dies because of the gunshot. Anyways, Kiryu and Haruka live happily ever after, and they never have to deal with Yakuza business again. The end. When it comes to the graphics, I think this is pretty much on par with everything released since Yakuza 5. Yakuza 5 is a pretty decent looking game, so yeah, this carries over to Ishin and 0, and by extension, Kiwami 1. Yakuza Kiwami 1 directly bases itself off of Yakuza 0, because, well, it is sort of a sequel to that game, so yeah. Its gameplay is like, take Yakuza 0, make it again, but just change the money to XP. That's all that's all I really have to say. Yeah, it's basically the same with some minor additions and obviously new moves, because Kiryu's newer and faster and stronger, and, well, because it's been a few years since 0 happened. Pretty much almost a decade. Also, Kiryu's a lot more older and wiser. Yeah, so yeah. You also have Komaki training. Once again, I didn't play this game past chapter 4, so I never got to see Komaki in the Kiwami. So, yeah. Its gameplay is fun, except the dragon style. The dragon style was severely nerfed in chapter 2, when in chapter 1 it was just low. it was just not very powerful in the beginning of the game. Like, I get it. Like, yeah, Kiryu did do a lot in Zero, and he's a very powerful figure. And obviously, he'd be training a lot more after that, after Zero happened. But did he really have to lose everything? Like in Yakuza 1, all he had was the. He only had four. He only had a 3-punch. He only had a 4-punch combo. It was like 3 jabs and an uppercut. That was the best he had at the very beginning. You did unlock the 3 jab and 2 kick combo later on. But yeah, Kiwami makes it so that you only have 2 jabs and a gut punch at the very as your best option into the Dragon style. And Brawler, Rush, and Beast return from Zero, unchanged from their level 1 counterparts in Yakuza 0. So yeah, those are still like pretty fun. But other than that, I just didn't really like how that was handled. I didn't really like how they handled the Dragon style. And that's the only reason why I don't like this game as much as Zero. Because I love its story and its characters. Its graphics are fine. It's a serviceable looking game. But like, yeah, it doesn't really do much better. Nothing, it doesn't really do anything better than Zero in that regard. So yeah, basically that's all I really have to say when it comes to Kiwami. Now let's compare the 2 games. Now, I think Kiwami 1 is a good looking game, but the lighting in the original game is just nothing short of amazing. It's just peak. Like, Yakuza 1 was a pretty good looking game, especially for its time. It was probably one of the best PlayStation 2 looking PS2 games I've ever seen. And to be fair, there are definitely PS2 games that look better than Yakuza. This game is only... Okay, I don't want to say only, but it had a $10 million budget. It had a near $20 million budget, 2.4 billion yen. And I think they made use. And I think it's pretty evident that they made a lot of use of that 2.4 billion that they used. Because you can see it in how detailed the graphics look. And how, like, how each different thing in Yakuza has, like, its own sort of... Each different thing in Yakuza has just every single little detail. Well, yeah, there's things that you can't really do on the PS2 effectively, like lip flaps. Yeah, those suck. But then again, this was the PlayStation 2. They had limited tech. So, anyways, yeah, Yakuza 1 is a very good looking game. So, you didn't really have much to improve on with Kiwami. And I think Kiwami works. Kiwami 1 is a good looking game on its own as well, but when compared to the original, it just doesn't hold up as well. Because Yakuza Kiwami has very much... Because Yakuza Kiwami has a lot of instances where in the original, it had pretty dim lighting that wasn't that good, but in Kiwami, the lighting is like super well lit, like too well lit for the scene to be effective. Like for example, when he takes a fall for Dojima, it looks a lot better in the original because you have this little dark green filter applied to it. And yeah, it makes the scene look more ominous, and the PS2 games have this all over the place. Like, it will change the hue of the lighting whenever it needs to. Like, it's just nothing short of amazing in the PS2 games. In Kiwami, it's either always green or it's just slightly green. Always dark green or always just grayish. Honestly, yeah. When it comes to gameplay, Yakuza 1's combat is pretty shit, but Kiwami's is also pretty shit. When it comes to the Dragon style, Kiwami's also kind of sucks. Especially in the beginning, but it gets better over time, as I heard. And obviously it's good, it's fun in Chapter 1 because you don't have to deal with the huge nerf. But I think if you want a better experience when it comes to, like, gameplay, if you want to not deal with having to level stuff, to extreme grinding just to get a basic combo that you had very early on in the original game, play the original game. But mind I warn you that Yakuza 1 is very clunky. I will go into slightly more depth in the Yakuza 3 video, so I'm not going to say more than that. It is clunky, that's all you really need to know. And its music, I'd say, it really depends on what you like in your music. Like, if you like the EDM tracks of Yakuza 0, then you'd love Kiwami's music. Me personally, I don't think I like Zero's music all too much. It's fine music, but I don't like it as much as Yakuza Kiwami's OST. Like, even if you don't really like Zero's music, I think you'll like Kiwami's, because I'm not a fan of the EDM music, but Kiwami has some real fucking bangers. Like, listen to the Intelligence for Violence remix in Kiwami is just great. Like, especially when they use vocal samples, but that was done a lot more in the PlayStation 2 version. So, yeah, the PS2 version is a lot more rock focused, more... Yeah, it is techno-ish. Yeah, it has its techno moments, but, like, it's more focused on it being, like, a rock OST. Yeah. And that's not bad, Its OST is amazing, too. I think it's better than Kiwami's, but Kiwami's is still great. So, yeah. When it comes to the character models, this goes hand in hand with graphics, but I think, yeah, the PS2 character models look stunning. Kiwami's also look stunning, but there is one thing that I advise, if you play this game for the graphics, that you should choose Kiwami over the original four. Graphics and atmosphere. So yeah, Kiwami has FMVs. So does the PS2 game, but the PS2 FMVs are so disgusting. Like, just play the original. Just play Kiwami if you want consistently good voice graphics. That's all I gotta say. Anyways, would I recommend this Kiwami over the original? Now, it really depends on what game you started with. Now, if this is your first Yakuza game, no. Don't start with Kiwami, because this is intended... Because Kiwami was made with the intention... with the mindset that you've already played Yakuza 0. Sure, you can start with it, but it's not recommended. Please play 0 first if you're gonna play Kiwami over the PS2 game. But if you have played Yakuza Kiwami, if you have played Yakuza 0, you have no reason to play the original after. Please play both versions. Like, no matter no matter if you started with 0 or Yakuza 1, please play both versions. At least at some point. Because I personally think you need both experience. You should have both experiences. Like, I highly advise that you do so. But if you want, like, English dubs, what I gotta say is, one, if you really just don't like Japanese voices, I have two things to say to you. One, this series is not for you. And two, play the original game. It's the only mainline Yakuza game in the Kiryu Saga that has an English dub. Although it comes with the fact that it's from 2006. So you're gonna have to deal with tons of swearing, you're gonna have to deal with a lot of swearing and gang-like dialogue. So, because it came out shortly after GTA San Andreas. Because that game was popular. Every game wanted to be like it. Anyways, do I recommend this game in general over the original? Yes. Honestly, even if you're starting with this, I'd rather you play this over it if you want a better gameplay experience. If you want a better story experience, play Zero first, or play the original, as Kiwami doesn't hit as hard unless you've either played Zero or played the original, because the lighting doesn't hit. Its atmosphere isn't as good as the original, but it does not hit as hard if you don't play Zero first. Anyways, yeah, let's move on to Kiwami 2. Now let's talk about Kiwami 2. Well, I've played even less of this one, so I can't really comment much, but first, yeah, basically the story is, Kiryu and Haruka did not live happily ever after. They have to deal with more Yakuza shit. Anyways, yeah, so basically there's this little kid named Ryuji. He wants to kill you because, yeah, you're not the dragon. There can only be one dragon. I mean, that is true. But yeah, basically you go... Also, there's a bunch of Koreans in this game. Don't think that's just me being racist. Anyways, back to what I was saying, there's a tons of Koreans in this game. Yeah. Basically, you meet this cop. His name is Sayama. And, yeah, there's also, Daigo Dojima and Yayoi Dojima, who were the, wife and son of Sohei Dojima, the guy that Nishiki killed 11 years earlier. Basically, the Tojo clan is basically on its last legs, and it needs Kiryu to survive. That's it, really. Yeah, Kiryu's basically dying, so they need him to. Tojo clan is fucked, so they need Kiryu to fix it. That's all I really have to say about the story. Well, yeah, Sayama's Korean, Ryuji's Korean. Jin Goda's not actually the father of Ryuji Goda. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, and Ryuji dies. Sayama, you never see her again, but, I'll get more in depth when I eventually make videos on Yakuza 1 and 2. Anyways, I'm done with the story. Yeah, that's it. Kiwami 2 is nothing short of a beautiful game. I'm being honest. Listen, I love the PS2 version's graphic. I think the PS2 version... I like its atmosphere tons more than I do than I like the Kiwami atmosphere. But Kiwami is still an amazing looking game. This isn't just, yeah, it's good, but like, no. This is more than that. This is a phenomenal looking game. The Dragon Engine has some of the most amazing looking Yakuza games to date. And this is very much evident in 6 and 2, Kiwami 2, because these are just amazing looking games. I can't even lie. I think Kiwami 2 looks better than Kiwami 1. I mean, yeah, it came after on a brand new engine specifically for the PlayStation 4, not meant to also run on the PS3, but whatever. This game still looks amazing. What isn't as amazing, though, is its gameplay. Listen, I still like Kiwami 2's gameplay, but if you're coming from Zero, and especially Kiwami 1, you are going to have a rough time getting used to Kiwami 2. Because, well, Kiwami 2, it doesn't play anything like anything that came before it, except 6. Kiwami 2, well, chronologically, you'd be playing this like 0, K1, K2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Anyways, you'd be playing in numbered order. But, yeah. Kiwami 2 doesn't play like anything before, and it doesn't play like anything before it, and it doesn't play like anything else after it up until Yakuza 6. And, inevitably, Gaiden, which will come out next year. Well, not next year. This year, or maybe next year. I don't know. I'm recording this before the RGG Summit of 2022. I mean 2023. So I don't know for sure yet. I will make a video on the RGG Summit 2023, by the way. Yeah. I'm not going to stream it because I don't have the equipment for that, but I will make a video on it. Anyways, back to Kiwami 2. Yeah, its gameplay is fun. I don't get that. I get the hate for it because people get so used to 0 Kiwami 1, and in my case, got used to Yakuza 1 to 5, and 0 to Kiwami 1's gameplay style. And then you move to Kiwami 2, and it's like just so different. You just have... It's just very, like... It's tons more different. Anyways, yeah. Enough about the gameplay. I don't really have much to say about the gameplay, but I have more to say about the story. I mean, more to say about the changes between Kiwami 2 and the original 2. For one, the design of Jiro Kawara, one of the main characters, was changed to match his voice actor, who reprised his role from the original game. Ryo Takashima, was also changed to fit the same reason, but his voice actor did not reprise his role, unlike Kawara. Not every voice actor in Kiwami 1 reprised their role. Same with Kiwami 2. In fact, some scenes are just not re-recorded at all. Kiwami 2 is obviously a lot more lazy than Kiwami 1 when it comes to the remaking department. There were 2 songs by Crazy Ken Band, December 17th, and Kuroi Kizato no Blues, which translates to Scarface Blues in English. Both of those songs were removed in Kiwami 2. Also, the ending song was changed from Silent Night, you know, that one public domain song, to some Japanese song I don't know. And, yeah, there is no unique song for the scenes with the licensed music in them. No, they play the same song, The Sound of Breath by Sim. I think that's what it's called. Anyways, all 3 songs are great. I haven't really listened much to the Kiwami 2 ending theme, so I can't really comment on that. But Kiwami 1 used Amazing Grace from the original Yakuza 1, so Kiwami 2 had no reason to do this. Why did they do this? I have no reason. It just completely ruins what came before. It just makes everything laughable. Like, just hilarious. As laughable as the Yakuza 1 English dub. Like, Yakuza Kiwami 2 wants you to take it seriously, but sometimes you just can't. Especially with the Dragon Engine's ragdoll physics, you just can't really take this game seriously. That's just me, though. Especially when it wants you to. Like, at the end scene where, you know, Ryuji dies, and Sayama and Kiryu, you think that they died too? You go from hearing this stupid-ass J-pop song to another J-pop song that sounds like an anime opening. It just pisses me off that they changed these songs that work so much with the tone of Yakuza 2. That made these scenes remembered for what they are, for a reason. Oh yeah, that's not the only thing they changed. Oh. They added sound effects where there weren't any in the original Yakuza 2. Now listen, this isn't a bad thing, as in the original game that could have been a glitch that occurred where the sound effect does not play, but in certain instances, like for example, in the scene in chapter 12 where Kuroi Kizato no Blues, which translates to Scarface Blues as I said before, plays, you can notice that you can just feel that this was intentional. Like, it's surprising because unless you paid attention to Kiryu's unless you paid attention to Kiryu's expression, you wouldn't really notice it. And even, and speaking of expressions, Kiwami 1 and Kiwami 2, his expressions were greatly nerfed. Same with a lot of other characters, because I don't know why. Maybe it would have been bad with the converter, but Kiwami 1 and Kiwami 2 just make the characters a lot less expressive. And in Kiwami 1, it just makes the game lose a lot of its personality. In Kiwami 2, in this one scene, you know, when Kiryu's expression changes, it's a lot more noticeable in the original game than it is in Kiwami. So, like, yeah, I guess you could say that Kiwami still does it better, but no. They make a knife sound effect play. Because in the original game, he gets stabbed by a random guy passed by the street. In the original game, you would not know until the game explicitly shows you Kiryu with the knife in his stomach. But no, it had to play the sound effect in Kiwami 2. I don't know why this was done, but there's also the difference with Kiwami 2 just generally being a lot lazier than Kiwami 1. I think this should not be the go-to version that you want to play Kiwami 2 for. Now, listen. Going from Kiwami 1 to the original Yakuza 2 still will be kind of hard. But if you played Yakuza Kiwami with the Dragon style, I think you can get used to the original Yakuza 2's gameplay fairly easily. It's not as robust as Kiwami. Yakuza 2's gameplay is pretty much Yakuza 1 PS2, but better. Kiwami 2's gameplay is Yakuza 6, but better, but Yakuza 6 is not Kiwami 1, so you're not going to be used to that if you're starting with 0. But now, would I recommend this Kiwami 2 over Kiwami 1? In any context, I heavily advise you to play the original at least once. Kiwami 2 is a very lazy remake that while it is fun to play, listen, I love Kiwami 2's gameplay, but I just don't want you to experience Kiwami 2's extreme laziness. In some cases, the game just does not look good. Some cases, there's stink filth. There's like a stink aura applied to the characters for some reason that I do not know. Maybe it's a result of the green filter. I don't know. But Yakuza Kiwami 2 is pretty lazy, so I don't want you to play it over the original game, obviously. Anyways, yeah, I don't really have much more to say about Kiwami 2. Let's end this video off with a little discussion about Yakuza 0. I'm not going to cover Yakuza 0's story, but its gameplay. Basically, it's just Yakuza Kiwami, but you don't have the dragon style. I'd say it's pretty fun, it's really fun. It's one of the best combat systems in the Yakuza series, in my personal opinion. But that's just me. You can disagree. This could be your favorite battle system. You could fucking hate the multiple styles thing. I don't care what you think. It's just, this is what I think. From what I've played, its story is pretty interesting. I like Majima's gameplay. It's the first time I get to play as Majima, because I haven't played Dead Souls. And, they don't let you play as Majima in Kenzan Nation. All they let you do is play as the Kiryu ripoff, Hajime Saito and Kiryu Kazumanosuke. I don't really have much more to say about Yakuza 0. Fun game from what I've played, but it's not peak like everyone says it is. Anyways, let's finish this video. Thank you so much for watching this long-ass tangent. If you got to the end of this video, make sure to like, subscribe, follow my Twitter at P3Nightfall. I don't know, just subscribe and maybe share the video. If you didn't like it, dislike it, whatever. Do what you want. Go follow my Twitter. I make art sometimes, and I would like that if you followed and saw that art. Anyways, bye. I have nothing to say. See ya.
情けない。神道のような男に喉元に刃を突きつけられるとは。
大公、申し訳ございませんでした。
お前の責任じゃない。正面から来るのならまだしも、こうも裏をかかれちゃ手の打ちようがないだろう。いいかい、組員に伝えるんだ。カムロ町で近江連合の者を見かけたら容赦することはない。力ずくで叩き出せとね。
はい。